Hi, friends. Welcome back to Woke.Ones.Revolution. I'm Heather, intuitive astrologer and your cosmic guide, here to enlighten you today on the Libra full moon eclipse that's happening on Monday, the 25th of March. Whoa. Yes, it's eclipse season, guys. You think this year's been kind of hectic and crazy. Let me say, you ain't seen nothing yet, baby. All for the greatest good, I promise you. This Libra full moon eclipse is pretty much hitting on all aspects of relationships. You know, Libra is the balancing of the scales. It is looking for compromise and finding that equilibrium within relationships. And when we have a full moon, you know, things get emotionally heated, right? The moon is emotions, it's water, it is your emotions, whether you want to feel them or not, right? So, you know, yeah, they can be tricky, but for the most part, you know, it stirs up some much needed reassessment of relationships. And I'm not just talking romantic. I'm talking, it could be business partnerships, creative ventures, relationships, yes, with spouse. Yes, it can be relationships with your family. Now, one thing I do want to bring up is that this full moon is actually happening in the same sign in which the South Node is currently residing. And the South Node is about the past. It is something that when the full moon highlights this area, especially in an eclipse, it can actually bring back themes of past relationships, okay? Now, this could be past partnerships, past loves, past friendships that you maybe haven't thought about for a while, but they're coming back in to show you something about yourself. And, you know, perhaps it's just maybe how far you've come, right? You know, this time encourage us to reassess our connections and find equilibrium. You know, it's a time for introspection and understanding the dynamics of your personal and professional relationships. It's a very fated time. Eclipse season is very fated, right? So, you know, it could be that maybe somebody from your past is popping back in to remind you, like I said, of how far you've come, but of maybe something that you forgot about that you're supposed to explore within yourself. Stay open-minded. That's really some of the best advice I can give. Stay open-minded. Realize that you're not the same person, and they are not the same people necessarily that you guys were back then. So, you know, it could be that maybe this is bringing in a fated event to set out really some closure on it and reflect on all of the lessons that you learned back then and reassess it to where you are today. And, you know, that can help provide some inner healing for sure. You know, if you've been finding yourself thinking about the way things were, you know, in the midst of dreaming of what could be. I think one of the big lessons here is don't let fear of something happening again the way it did before, because that's not likely, right? If you're afraid to move forward on doing something, or excelling to a different part of your relationship evolutionary side, right? Then maybe, just maybe, this is a time period where you can actually release that. Actually, the full moon in Libra does call for releasing those relationships that no longer serve you, so that you can move on to something better come this eclipse on April 8th. That's Aries eclipse happening at 19 degrees. It's definitely going to move us into some new territory, exciting territory. And like with anything new, it can be a little scary and exciting at the same time. Embrace the uncertainty, right? Don't push anything. It very well just could be a time of reassessment. But it could also be a time where maybe even a past life connection comes into your life. Maybe you don't remember them, but they feel so familiar. If that's the case, it could be that they're here to mentor you. You could come across a new mentor, a teacher that helps guide you in this ending that's happening over this eclipse season, to usher in these new beginnings. Now, I like to talk about my Sabian symbols, right? So the Sabian symbol for this one is a man teaching the true inner knowledge of the new world to his students. It does speak very much to a profound spiritual or intellectual revelation being shared and passed on to others. In the sense of this Libra eclipse, it also suggests that those people that I was talking about that you might come across, even being possible past life people showing up, or the situations that you encounter serving as catalysts for intellectual and spiritual growth. You can find yourself as a teacher yourself. Maybe there's some karmic thing there that maybe you're the past life person. Depending on who comes into your life, it could be their chart that it's hitting in a way that brings you into their life to be their teacher, to help be their guide. So exciting. It really is. But basically, it's just resonating on that inner knowledge and truth that can help you better understand yourself and your relationships and the world around you. Well, I hope that this eclipse finds you all very well. I know that, things can be, uncertainty can really cause some anxiety and stress. Don't get yourself all worked up. And remember that the universe, source, God, cosmos, whatever, the big I am, it is all for you, right? Everything that has happened so far in your life up to this point was something you signed up for before you got here. And so, you didn't set yourself up for failure. You set yourself up to level up, baby. All right, hey, it's just the way it is. Well, I don't really, you know, I think that's pretty much the message that I had for you. I do, if you don't mind, I want to throw down some tarot cards for the collective. So let me readjust. I set things up here so that you can see the cards a little better. Hang tight and we'll move forward. If I could have anybody that's with me here today, take a moment to ground yourself and ask Spirit to bring in whatever messages it is that the collective needs to hear, or, you know, make sure that you are connecting. I feel it pulling through right now, and so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's talk about this Libra full moon eclipse happening on the 25th for the collective, please. What messages does Spirit have for the collective to help make this the most fruitful of lunar eclipses? What advice can be lent? My deck's not wanting to talk, guys. I'll shuffle one more time. I'm so sorry. All right. Whoa, I love it. Coming in with the Page of Wands. New passions. New endeavors. Freedom. Acceptance. I love it. Page of Wands is so beautiful. Crossing that energy, we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. You know, the Six of Pentacles reverse definitely speaks to, it can speak to taking advantage of something, someone, time. Not a time for wasting time, baby. Love it. All right, let's go ahead and move forward. What else do we got? The Six of Swords, but it came out reversed. Okay. So it's crowning the reading. And the Empress in reverse was the undersided energy. All right, what's at the heart? What's grounding this reading? And that popped out immediately. Oh, the King of Pentacles. Wholeness, you know, feeling fulfillment, you know, just taking care of business. You're taking care of business, baby. You know, I love it. You know, all the tangible, what roots us, what grounds us. The underside energy of that was the Fool. I love it. Well, let's talk about what we're letting go of. That's a big question with this lunar eclipse. What are we letting go of? Oh, that's a message there of being willing to release and let go of. All right, got a book. Love it. We got the Star card in reverse. Letting go of old pipe dreams that are holding us back. Letting go of that which no longer fulfills our soul's desire. Wow. Wow. Letting go of an old dream. I love the lasso right there. The stars, she's lassoing the sun. Letting go, letting go, letting go. All right, what's up front? Coming up next, we've got the Nine of Swords reversed. So coming up after this is letting go of nightmares, inner turmoil. You've woken up. You've woken up. I love it. I love it. All right, well, I'm going to keep going. I'll read a little more once I have the whole story, but we're going to go ahead and keep going. Two of Cups. Two of Cups reversed. This can feel like a breaking of a connection, unfortunately. That's how we can feel. This is hard because there is love. There is love in this relationship. You just don't have a passion for it anymore. It's not filling your cup. I mean, the beauty in the Two of Cups, you can see the alchemy, stirring up out of the waters of those bowls, right? You see the rainbow. You can see the union in the two hands joined together. And I can see some fear of letting that go with that card. Let's keep moving. How's the other person feeling about it? Well, we got the Knight of Swords reversed. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, the Knight of Swords is a wild one. The wild one. And it can be very impulsive. It can be a little tactless, a little too aggressive. I want to look at this in the upright. But it's inspirational, but reversed, I mean, really, it's not feeling tapped into the higher vibrations of the passions that it should be. This can be, well, I'm just going to say it. The Knight of Wands in reverse can speak to indiscretions, we'll say. It can be a abusive type. It could be a cheater. I'm not gonna lie. It could be a cheater if you're in this for a love reading. Or it could be somebody who is just outright, I want to say reckless with their passions. Okay? All right. And then along the challenge line, which is right here, out in front of the Nine of Swords, I ended up with the Seven of Swords. Okay. So there's a lot of air between this Nine of Swords and the Seven of Swords that I'm seeing here. Seven of Swords on the challenge line can speak to manipulation, deceit, lies, sneakiness. You notice how he's sneaking over the bend. He's got some feathers that he's got in his backpack, and the feathers are flying out, and those two crows are looking at him like, yo, those aren't your feathers. What the heck do you think you have them? And why you got our feathers, man? That's not right, you know? And as you can see, he's got the sword in his hand, right? It's just a little teeny tiny little sword though, right? like a little knife, but you know, it's little. It speaks to big ego. You know, I'm not going to say the little D energy. You know, that whole complex where somebody's acting out of insecurity, right? So, all right, well, let's keep going. And for the outcome line up top, I got the High Priestess. She popped out in reverse, okay? Wow. Wow. So the High Priestess is inner knowledge. It's your intuition. It's knowing something, but maybe with the swords, the High Priestess in reverse can speak to several different things. Looking at this card, I can see manipulation of energies, manipulation of feelings, lying to ourselves, right? If we're not careful with all the wands all these swords that are happening here, we've got the Six of Swords, we have the Seven of Swords, we have the Nine of Swords. The Eight of the Swords is almost like it's missing from this read, but it's not. I mean, it's sticking out like a sore thumb. The Eight of Swords is the kind of energy that you can easily get yourself into if you are not being true to your thoughts, if you're not being true to your intuition and true to your feelings, if you're lying. The Eight of Swords is, you know, in the traditional deck, the Eight of Swords speaks to somebody who feels trapped, trapped in, my goodness, it can just be paranoia, trapped in their own mental anguish. I want to get some clarifiers out here. I just peeked around and I see that my camera flipped upways, so I do apologize about that. I could probably flip it around and make it a little better. Here, let me do that real quick. So this is the outside. We can leave behind us is that this is the primary energy. The Six of Pentacles in reverse was what was crossing the Page of Wands. Then we have the King of Pentacles grounding it. This was crowning it. Oh man, I'm sorry about my mess, you guys. I am. All right, let's bring her over. I'll make it all pretty. I'm so sorry. Two of Cups. Bring that line down. There we go. I'm sorry. All right, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm going to bring forward, I want to get a couple of clarifiers here for the outcome line. We're going to do 2 more for that. Okay, show me more of the outcome for that High Priestess in reverse, please. Okay, well, it gave me 3. Okay, the 3 it gave me. Huh, 2 of Swords. That one right there is indecision, not knowing what choices to make. Feeling like if, you know, do I go this way? Do I go that way? But there's ties. I mean, you see her strands of hair, the crow has them. Each of the crows have them. They're like, come over here, come over there. It's dizzying feeling, so much so that, you know, she had to get herself blindfolded so that she could really tap into that inner knowing. You know, maybe that's what this High Priestess in reverse is, because I mean, that's how it would look on the outcome line, you know. She's looking at it like, hey, you know, I'm looking for your guidance, but I'm all twisted up in the head, you know. I need to make a choice. I'm not sure which way to go. Well, the next thing after that does, unfortunately, allude to the 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords, pain, turmoil, heartbreak, and ouch, ouch. You know, I mean, that is, she's looking away from that. She's not even wanting to entertain that thought. But don't lie to yourself. If something is not making you happy, something, if you're not feeling that passion, if that Page of Wands energy is not there for you, maybe that's why you're looking that way. You're trying to avoid it. You know, the 3 of Swords, it can look very painful, right? I mean, that heart's been ripped up. But I tell you what, for all of us that have ever had broken hearts, the heart mends, right? It does mend. And the 2 of Pentacles was the clarifier for that. 3 of Swords that popped out. Talking again about balance, equilibrium. Ooh, all right. Well, I've looked at this and I'm going to take a little deeper look here so I can see what else is up, but I got to move over here because I can't see very well. All right. I want to see more about the challenge line, please. And that one's coming out. Slowly but surely. 7 of Pentacles. Man, he looks grounded and focused, doesn't he? Don't lose focus on your goals. Don't give up just because it's not complete or turning out exactly the way that you expect it to. I mean, and I just saw, in looking at this card, a vision of, I mean, obviously the seed sprouting, but the evolution of the plant. Those seeds, how they've grown and how they'll continue to grow, right? Don't get impatient. Get yourself grounded. That all that air energy with those swords can certainly cause a bunch of emotional turmoil. And that Three of Swords and those other swords that I'm seeing all speak to being so afraid of letting go, but at the top of your mind, you want to let go, but you just don't know how to. You're scared to. You're holding on to something. Why are you holding on to it? I mean, yes, you've been putting in the work on it. You've been waiting for those seeds to sprout, and they're finally sprouting. It's 2 sevens side by side. What else for the challenge, please? Drew me 2. We got the Magician in reverse. The Magician, as we talked about in the last video for the readings, is using all of the tools. The Magician is the master of alchemy, right? He embodies the wand. He has the sword. He has the cup. He has the pentacle. And it's all talking about proper use and proper balance. You see that 8, that infinity symbol. The challenge is going to be the integration of this and using your tools properly. I mean, you have all the tools within you. You do. It's just, are you going to use them the way that they're meant to be used? Or are you going to be manipulative or taken by manipulative energies and don't trick yourself out of what you want. If you know it's for you, don't trick yourself out of it. Another card that came as a clarifier behind that Magician was the Three of Wands reversed. I'm flipping these cards back and forth. These are all coming out backwards. Three of Wands, not knowing which way to go. Not knowing what you're passionate about. Like, ow, wow. The underside of that energy is the Sun in reverse. Sun in reverse. Not being so happy. Unfulfilled happiness. Stop being afraid. Stop being scared. I want so much for you guys and the collective to let go of all this fear. A lot of this stuff is just fear mongering that I'm seeing online lately. You can't go into any social media without there being you know, oh my gosh, doom and gloom, the eclipses are here, the world's ending, you know, it's getting a bit much. You know, if I count it out, I mean, again, it just goes back to that 8, the 8, I keep seeing the 8 of Swords. Don't trap yourself in an imaginary prison. Okay, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. If somebody's taking advantage of your kindness, if somebody is playing games with your heart, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Maybe this is the perfect time to stop holding all of this stuff in. I want to speak to, again, maybe somebody's coming in for you that can teach you how to get yourself out of that Eight of Wands energy or Eight of Swords energy, so that you can find balance and release those fears. So we can release that passion out to the world, manifest those dreams that we have for an exhilarating new beginning. I pulled a, how fitting. I pulled a Shaman's Dream Oracle out. Closing door, completion, number 5. How ironic that this full moon eclipse in Libra is happening at 5 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and read that. Let's also look at the underside energy, because that's just what I do. Ha ha ha, I love it. So the under energy for closing that door is the sky bridge, possibility for union. Number 47, which is 11, which is 2, which is the union. I love it. Maybe that'll get you feeling more like that. More like that 2 of Cups. Anyways. All right, let's read card 5. Closing door. Endings, completion, your greater calling. When the closing door shows up, it's a call to recognize an ending, to terminate a relationship, job, task, or situation that has been dragging on for far too long. Unlock the cage that you've been trapped in and shut the door behind you. Remember that 8 of Wands or 8 of Swords that I was speaking to? Break yourself free from it. This is not a time to worry about what others might think or feel. Instead, break the routine. Whew. Consider what you think and how you feel, and be true to your heart's calling. It's time to walk out of the door. If you do not see a door, but only a solid wall in front of you, ask for assistance. Muster up the courage to say, no fucking more. It didn't say fucking, but hey. Anyways, remember as well that no one else needs to be wrong in order for you to do what you've known you've needed to do for a long time. If the door to a project or a relationship has been closed to you, stop knocking on it. You've tried that already. No one answered. At least not in the way that you would have liked. Take this as a gift. Difficult and painful as it might be, move on. Every door that shuts is an invitation to find another way, another path to your destination. Better to recognize this earlier than later. How many of us leave a relationship or a job years after we knew it was time to move on? Stop wallowing. Stop wallowing in the pain. Whew. Stop lingering on the reasons why things didn't work. It is keeping you from your greater calling. Bow deeply before that closed door and give thanks to the lessons. And set yourself free. Card drop. Mic drop. Card drop. Love it. Love it. All right. Oh, wow. It's pretty awesome how the cards basically told me. I mean, I was looking at it and that was beautiful. It really was. And I really hope that serves further validation about maybe where some of you are right now with that head heart thing that you have going on. You know, you're not alone in this. Everybody is going through their own version, you know. The eclipse is hitting everybody in different parts, but for the collective, it really is all about that balance, you know, and balancing and maybe repurposing some of those feelings and desires. And like the card said, viewing it as a take the lessons, right? You know, endings can be scary. Trust, especially coming from a very fixed person myself. Endings are scary, you know. There's so much change happening that we've got to trust in the divine. We've got to trust in the bigger vision that's going to be laid out in front of us. It's there for us to grab, as long as we aren't grasping onto the habits, the bad habits, the toxicity, you know. If you're at this point in a relationship to where you're feeling this way, talk to somebody, talk to a confidant, talk to a therapist, you know, talk to God, talk to your higher I am. Take a really critical look at those twisted emotions that you're feeling. And understand that during this eclipse season, there's very fated events that are happening. You could meet fated people, like I said. You could just have fated events happen that bring you the closure that's been needed for quite a while. It's like I mentioned at the very beginning of this video. Libra is about relationships. We have a solar eclipse coming in on April the 8th in Aries at 19 degrees. And, you know, that's moving into that's the very end of the second decan of Aries. Very much speaking to owning your individuality, owning your passions. And the sun's exalted at that degree. Like, really, really. That's powerful, big stuff. And it's happening alongside Chiron, the wounded healer. Wow. You have new, beautiful beginnings coming. And I, for one, am super freaking excited because there's so many possibilities. And, you know, I'm done with the being confused about letting go of things and whatever. I trust in the universe. I trust that what's meant for me is happening for me, not to me, you know, and that fills my heart with so much love. And I hope and wish for each and every one of you to be able to get to that point too. You know, even the scary stuff, you know, how many scary things have you come across in life and then doubled back later in life and been like, that was so worth it. Well, friends, you're worth it. Your passions, your dreams, your heart and soul, you're worth it. Mwah. Much love, friends. Until next time, keep shining your light. Bye-bye.